Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
A Simsbury family is without a home tonight after a fire broke out in their house. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. We're learning one person is badly burned and in the hospital tonight. Fox
61's Kayla Cade is live in Simsbury right now with the latest details from the fire department and the efforts from firefighters to put those flames out. Kayla.
Firefighters from Simsbury and multiple surrounding towns responded to a call here at this house that you can see behind me on Corn Hunt Road. And you can also still see the crossing tape is still here. Police are still on the scene investigating this incident. Now, when police arrive and firefighters arrive, they found a person burned. And Simsbury firefighter Chief Todd Meyer says they do not know if that person lived at this house behind me. The fire chief says they located a car in the driveway that caught on fire. That fire then spread to the garage area, and officials say this was a challenging fire because it happened in an area without any hydrants. So they had to call for other departments to bring in water tankers to help put out the flames. Crews were able to keep the fire from spreading any further than the garage area and the vehicle.
We did go into the home to make sure that there was no fire inside the garage, but we were able to limit the fire to the garage area and keep the doors closed so there's no smoke damage inside the home.
Crews say containing the fire was extremely important as the state is still under a red flag warning. With numerous brush fires burning in Connecticut, there was concern about this fire potentially spreading and creating another larger fire for firefighters to deal with. But that was not the case here in Simsbury. Now, as for the person who was burned, they were transported by Lifestar helicopter to the hospital. Now, we do not know how badly he was burned but we will keep you updated if we learn more. In Simsbury, Kayla Cade, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Kayla, thank you. Turning to the weather now, we had some record-breaking heat today, but that's not expected to last.
Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank for a look at the forecast. Rachel, how warm did it get?
We got up to 84 degrees today in the Hartford area. So not only did this shatter the daily record high temperature, but we also ended up tying the all-time November record as well. It has never been hotter than 84 degrees in Connecticut in November. However, we did hit 84 back November 1st. Remember that? It was very, very warm the day following Halloween. In Bridgeport, we ended up breaking the daily record by 1 degree, but still very warm across the state. And I want to stress, it is still warm as we head through the next couple of days. It just won't be as warm as today was. Instead of highs near 80, we'll be closer to 70 tomorrow. Still pretty good for November. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. We do have a cold front that's coming through. Unfortunately, though, it comes through dry without any rain. You can see a couple showers there just kind of falling apart. So we're just going to have to keep doing our rain dances. Low temperatures tonight falling back into the mid-50s to right around 60 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. We're waking up with partly cloudy skies. By lunchtime, temperatures are up around 70 degrees. It will be another breezy day. So again, there is a high risk for brush fires. Winds out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles an hour. And as we head towards this time tomorrow night, we're looking at temperatures falling back into the 60s. We'll take a look at a cooler weekend forecast. And of course, we have to look ahead to if and when we can finally get some rain. Your full forecast coming up.
Rachel, thank you. The 2024 presidential election was a tight race, but President-elect Donald Trump is making a historic comeback.
And Trump is now preparing to head back to the White House in January. Not only did he sweep the Electoral College, he also won the popular vote, and that's something no other Republican has done in 20 years. The president-elect addressed the nation early this morning from Palm Beach, Florida. He declared his victory.
And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve.
We're told Trump spoke with Vice President Kamala Harris, and she congratulated him on his victory. Harris is still the president of the Senate, so she will be in charge of certifying the election results in January.
And as president of the Senate, Vice President Harris will be in charge of certifying these election results in January. Meanwhile, Harris addressed a group of supporters at her alma mater, Howard University, where she gave her concession speech this afternoon.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. Hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting.
And tomorrow, President Joe Biden will address the nation on the election results and the transition of power. President Biden also called Donald Trump and invited him to the White House for an in-person meeting.
And as those election results were rolling in last night, many were feeling election anxiety.
Yeah, there's mixed views among voters in Connecticut about Donald Trump being reelected as president of the United States. Some say they had hoped for another outcome, while others are excited to have him lead the country again.
Fox 61's Kate Pattyfoot spoke with voters all across the state on where they stand.
Disappointment and excitement are some of the many feelings people across the state are feeling after Donald Trump won the 2024 presidential election Tuesday.
I kind of really thought that we were heading towards like a time of change in the country, and clearly we're just not there yet.
Donald Trump will serve another term in the White House after being elected by the American people in the 2024 presidential election. The results of this election left voters with a variety of emotions.
I had really no clue what was going to happen. You looked at all the polling data. Everything was pointing that it was going to come down to those 7 or so swing states, and all of those swing states were going to be decided by razor-thin margins.
I would say it's very exciting because this is the first election I got to vote in, but I was like happy with the outcome, and it was really like close. So it was so exciting to see as each state came in last night.
It's no secret the country is divided on how they feel about the election results, and the reactions are far and wide across social media.
It's a lot of disappointment, to put it lightly. Obviously, there's more colorful language on some posts than others, but it's just a general, a lot of students are worried, particularly female students.
I am worried, but mostly not for myself and how I'm going to do, but it's just worry for others.
Up in Northeast Connecticut, there's a store dedicated to all things Donald Trump. The manager of that store says he's thrilled to see Trump elected again.
We're going to have, hopefully, no more wars. He's going to end that war in Ukraine and all the other wars that are about to happen, or with nuclear testing that never happened before when he was in office.
But churchgoers at Emmanuel Congregational Church in Hartford feel differently.
His policies, his values, the way he speaks about human beings are antithetical to the way that we understand Jesus taught and the way he lived and the way he died.
Reverend Dr. J and members of his congregation gathered for prayer and solidarity for the future of this country. Supporters tell me they are excited to see what he will do this time around, and among many things are hopeful he'll end the war in Ukraine. In Hartford, Kate Pattyfoot, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Kay, thank you. We've been watching election results roll in since late last night, from the presidential race to here at home, where major state and local races were also decided.
Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolf-Forst has a look at the results of these down ballot contests. Emma.
Yeah, we know the presidential election obviously does not happen in a vacuum. There were a multitude of congressional races across the country this election, 6 of those right here in Connecticut. And all the Democratic incumbents secured their seats once again, including Senator Chris Murphy.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world that I get the chance to do this job for another 6 years.
U.S. Senator Chris Murphy clinched a 3rd term Tuesday night with about 57.5% of the vote.
I'm going to continue to do all the things necessary in order to make sure that I'm listening to everybody in this state.
Murphy spent the afternoon post-election at his usual spot, Capitol Lunch in New Britain. He says it's his tradition, calling himself a bit superstitious.
Whatever I'm doing seems to be working. My karma did not extend to the national level, but it seems to be working here in Connecticut.
But Murphy says his win is bittersweet.
We lost a lot of good colleagues in the Senate. Donald Trump seems poised to return to the White House, which is really bad news for Connecticut.
Both chambers of Congress held slim majorities going into Tuesday. The Senate switching from Democratic to Republican control, with the GOP flipping 3 seats.
What's discouraging is that typically when Republicans are in charge in Washington, they don't actively look for bipartisan successes.
The Senate is responsible for confirming the president's cabinet and any Supreme Court justices if a vacancy comes, giving Republicans a power boost. Murphy says he's willing to work across the aisle, but is doubtful of bipartisanship under another Trump administration.
I mean, I didn't work with them on much. I mean, I learned not to trust them. That doesn't mean that I won't continue to try, but there wasn't a lot of effort to reach out across the aisle from the Trump White House in the first term.
His message to Connecticut residents:
I love this country. I love this state. Trump's values aren't Connecticut values, and so I'm just going to go to the Senate and fight like hell for the things that Connecticut cares about and see if we can find areas of common agreement, and try to stop him when he's doing things that are particularly dangerous, and get ready for the next election.
Murphy also tells me he was surprised by the results nationally last night into this morning, saying there's something broken about the Democratic Party's messaging. He pointed to Democratic policies and issues being approved in states where Democratic candidates then lost. He says the party will definitely be having some, quote, hard conversations in the coming weeks and months.